Welcome to Lake TV's Community Spotlight Show, brought to you by the great folks at Hy-Vee, both in Osage Beach and Jefferson City. And today's topic, love it. It is local history with our buddy Bill Moulder, local historian, and we talk about just about everything. So if you see Bill on, keep on listening because it's probably something new that you haven't heard before. And so let's talk about after the building of the lake. I mean, just a seismic shift from what this area was before the lake and then after the lake.
And, you know, things were completely changed. People were not living in the Osage Valley anymore above the dam because you would be underwater.
Yeah, I mean, that wouldn't be healthy.
It wouldn't be. The biggest change was to the Snyder family.
Okay, who's the Snyder?
They built Hahatonka.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, and Leroy, who was the dad that built it, that commissioned it, never got to set foot in the completed building. He was killed in a car wreck in Kansas City before.
That's heartbreaking.
It is.
Wow.
But they built this grand structure.
Yeah.
It was beautiful. It was Moorish style architecture inside. They actually bought stonemasons in from England to cut the stone.
These people had some money.
They had a ton of money.
Wow.
So he died 1901 or 02.
Okay. So this is all way before the dam.
Way before the dam.
Okay.
The Tonka Castle, or the Tonka Estate as it was truly known, not only was a draw, people were coming in by train to Lebanon to get in a horse and buggy and come up and see this thing.
Really?
So we had tourism prior to that.
Oh.
And when you go to Tonka State Park right now, you go down to the spring parking lot.
Yeah.
That was the trout glen. He had dammed that off out at the head of the cove and stocked trout in it because he wanted to be able to go down there and fly fish for trout.
Huh.
He had this grand idea. He was building an English or Scottish estate.
Right.
And he accomplished it. Motels were built. If you go look in the 50s and 60s, there was a hotel down there where the parking lot at the spring exists now.
Really?
It was a beautiful hotel.
Huh.
There were cabins up on top by the old post office.
And did Snyder own all this, or?
No, the motel came later.
Okay.
And it was another different part. They sold part of it off. So the family, the boys, were very upset about what the lake did. It ruined Trout Glen.
Okay.
It flooded it. Flooded over that. The dam was taken out, changed the complexity of the water down there because it was all spring-fed pool.
Yeah.
The trout are gone. They can't survive in that. It changed the look of the place. So the Snyder estate actually sued Ameren for aesthetics.
Huh.
They said, you have ruined the aesthetics of our property. We want a huge amount of money. And I don't believe they actually got that much.
Interesting.
They did win a little bit. But it was something that went on. The Snyders turned it into a lodging facility.
Yeah.
And then in 42, it burnt, of course.
Oh, yeah, to what it is now, basically.
Correct. One of the trivial notes about that, of course, we're into World War II. Mm-hmm. Pearl Harbor's been bombed. And there was an airport in this area. People saw an airplane flying not too long before the roof caught on fire. And there was actually rumors circulating in the community that the Japanese had bombed Hahatonka.
Really?
Yes, sir.
Huh.
I mean, it was just some of that panic of what's going on.
Right.
So that burnt. It left a water tower. The stables burnt, which is where you park up there by the castle now.
Okay.
The sparks were coming off that shake roof, and it caught that shake roof on fire.
Wow.
But he had greenhouses up there to grow exotic plants in, had it for gardening. The man built a phenomenal estate. So that was one of those asides of, wow, was there damage done? Depending on how you look at it, yes, I see the damage done to the estate because that Trout Glen itself was just gorgeous.
Yeah.
It changed the whole look of the area for him.
Well, it changed it for everybody.
Everybody.
Nobody was exempt from.
Everybody was changed in some aspect.
Yeah, absolutely. So that Hahatonka was one of the things. I mean, pre-dam actually.
Yep.
I hear people talk about this rodeo that used to be around here that was such a huge deal.
The J-Bar H Rodeo If you want to go visit the J-Bar H Rodeo grounds, all you have to do is go to Camden, go to the main library. That was where it's set.
That's where the rodeo was?
That's where it was.
Okay.
It was the biggest outdoor rodeo in the nation.
Wow.
It eclipsed Cheyenne Frontier Days. It eclipsed Pendleton. It was huge.
Why here? Why was it so huge?
A guy
here?
named Harry Nelson built this, and basically, if I build it, they will come.
Yeah, and he was right.
And he went to it on just a faith, said, I'm going to do this, it's going to work. And goodness, yes, it would absolutely fill up the city of Camden. Now, we didn't, back when this started in the 50s, there wasn't a lot of room. So people were having to stay in Lebanon, Jeff City, just to have enough space to stay.
Right.
It was an industry like nobody's business.
Huh.
We have forgotten now, because it's been many, many years since that thing's been in existence, just exactly what it did bring. There was a parade in August. Huh. It was bigger than the Dogwood Parade. People, they drew in Hollywood stars, such as the cast of Bonanza.
Really?
As far as I know, and I can't find anything that indicates different, the whole cast, we're talking from Little Joe, Hoss, Adam, Paw, and even Hop Sing, appeared here. It may have been the only time they did outside of the state of California.
I've seen pictures too. I mean, it's pretty cool. Wow.
Clint Eastwood, when he was Rowdy Yates, was here.
Really?
Yes, sir. And
that's how big this rodeo was.
Yes, and just up the street from the studio here, there's the town of Greenview.
Yeah.
There was a restaurant there.
Yeah.
And that was where the Nelsons would take the stars after the rodeo. And my parents happened to be friends with them, so I benefited from that. And as a little kid, when I was about maybe 5, 6 years old, I actually sat on Clint Eastwood's lap and ate my dinner while he was sitting there.
You're kidding me.
I'm not.
Wow. All right, so we got to get more of these kind of stories here with the local historian Bill Moulder.
This may be what caused all of this.
He left a mark, absolutely. All right, so we'll have more with historian Bill Moulder here on the Spotlight Show right after this. At COMC, your health is our mission. Central Ozarks Medical Center is growing in our community with a new dental location to serve you in Eldon and a new location in Loring. COMC also makes your children a priority with a mobile dental unit serving schools in rural areas where access can be a challenge. COMC also offers OBGYN, sports medicine, pediatric, and behavioral health care. Get more info on how COMC can help you at centralozarks.org. COMC, where your health is our mission. If it's happening at the lake, it's happening on Lake TV. From the polar plunge to festivals, parades, aquapalooza, and boat shows, Lake TV has it all. Even the granddaddy of them all, the shootouts. If you're looking for places to party, things to do, or even a new home to move into, you've gotta love Lake TV. Welcome back to the Community Spotlight Show. We are talking local history with local historian Bill Moulder, our good buddy. We're talking about some of the things, like Hahatonka before the dam and after the dam, this J-Bar Rodeo, which is really cool. And you were telling us that...
J-Bar H, yep.
Oh, J-Bar H Rodeo.
Got to have the bar and H in there.
That's right. That's got to be the brand.
It
right?
is, that's correct.
Okay. And you actually... And having grown up in this area, they were having the rodeo when you were a kid.
Yeah.
You met Clint Eastwood. You sat on his lap.
I did. And Cheyenne, I cannot think of that actor's name right now.
In Cheyenne.
Yeah. The TV show Cheyenne.
I don't ever saw that one.
Fess Parker was here.
Yeah.
And there was just all kinds of stars.
Wow.
But they stayed in that Western venue, that Western vein for the stars they brought in.
Yeah. That makes sense.
One of the first, in the later rodeo years, Reba McEntire was singing here.
What?
Yep. But she was not known as a singer then. She was a barrel racer.
Really?
So she did barrel racing and then sang as well.
Grew up in Oklahoma, right?
Yep.
So the rodeo was still going. When did the rodeo end?
It stopped in the 80s.
Okay.
It was a different guy had bought it out.
Yeah.
Sandy Nelson, who is the daughter of the Nelsons, would perform there. She still lives in Camdenton.
Really?
Behind the old rodeo grounds, still owns the property.
Interesting. Okay. So, and then we've talked about the lake came in, it changed everything.
It did.
And then all of a sudden this turned into more of a resort and, vacation tourism kind of a thing.
Heavy recreation is what I call it. So,
Heavy recreation. And we've seen just an amazing change over the years, but it has a lot to do with the way the nation has changed.
it does,
like
and
that.
the infrastructure.
Yeah.
Well, if you're not familiar with the lake, from your first times here, you're going to say, well, you got great roads. These roads are kind of new to us. The 4 lanes, the shared 4-lane, so it's made a big difference. It's made it easier for people to get here. Camden Airport just went to, 5,000-foot runway, which is going to be another opportunity. With the new infrastructure bill, that's going to have an impact of monies that come into MoDOT, and they got the new tax money. So we're probably going to see more stuff going on here in road building. As you're driving North 5 up here, you'll still see, south of the bridge, you'll see a flat area. That's for 2 more lanes.
Yeah.
And there is plans, I'm assuming they still exist in the MoDOT files, to do some more stuff all the way up to Versailles to widen these out. So who knows what that's going to bring. And then we got the latest news here. The Osage Indians are wanting to build a casino in Lake Ozark.
Yeah, how about that?
That's going to be a huge change for the area.
It's kind of like a throwback because you were telling us there was a casino right off the bat
Yes, sir.
back in the early days.
Yep. So who knows what, as the infrastructure changes and things and people's mindset change and what they want. I mean, think of just the short time in the past 5-10 years, the amount of big box stores we've seen come in, chain restaurants, who knows what else is coming. I noticed in the News for Lake Expo yesterday that the outlet mall is being sold.
Yeah.
And it's supposed to be a world destination shopping.
World-class shopping.
I don't know what that means. If it's, it's not Bass Pro, so I'm kind of lost.
Well, but Bass Pro has proved that it can be done.
Bass Pro has really proved it can be done.
So that's a good, I guess, change depending on how you look at it. It's either good or bad. If you don't want things to change, you're going to be upset because they're going to change.
Correct.
Yeah.
I think the big thing we need to keep in mind as residents here is let's go with the change. Let's work it, but let's keep some of the stuff alive that's important to us. Yeah. Let's keep the traditions alive. Let's keep some of the sense of what this place was alive, and we'll be fine. We need to watch out for our environment. We need to make sure that we don't overbuild and we lose our green spaces. That's one of the big concerns I've always had because I tend to think more about the outdoors. It's good to have all of this, but we still need our green spaces and our outdoors. And the younger generations are more in tune with that. We want to be able to get outside. We want to be able to enjoy ourselves. The thing that would really bother me to see would us turn into a Springfield or a St. Louis. We don't need that. I mean, we have something unique here, and it is nature. All of this is because this big, beautiful body of water out here exists, and is still nature. And as you're going to see in some of the photos we looked at earlier, if you remember that one photo that showed the lake with nothing on it, it's just the water. You're looking up Horseshoe Bend, and there's no houses, no structures of any kind.
Yeah.
You can't see that these days.
No.
But we have to remember that's what this is.
Well, and it's going to get worse. I mean, all those forest areas beside the roads and stuff, you see for sale signs on them now,
Yes, you do.
300 acres or whatever. Those will eventually be sold and turn into something, and that'll be interesting. But that'll make more history. That's what history is all about.
It's about change. We need to be accepting of change. When I grew up, I was born in 55. I literally grew up, our nearest neighbor was about 2 miles away.
Yeah.
But we were on the big, or little angle arm of the lake. So I had that as a playground. It was more of a little angle river than it was really the lake. It was just a wide part of the river. And now there's a big subdivision there, there's people there, and that's fine. They have their right to have their piece of this beautiful area the same as anybody else does.
Yeah.
And when tourists come here, I see them as our guests. They come here to enjoy this, and we don't have any rights to say you can't come here and enjoy this. Of course you can.
That's kind of what it's all about.
It is.
He's historian Bill Moulder. Thank you, sir. We appreciate all the insight and all the pictures and all the wonderful stories.
It's definitely my pleasure,
It's a
Chris.
blessing.